I'm a guy that tends to notice patterns. These weird little odd patterns that just randomly pop up. Most of the time I just think nothing of it or I'm overthinking things. This one is strangely specific, so I think that something is going on here. Over the past couple of weeks, just randomly browsing the internet, I have seen 3 different articles where the author, in whatever article it is, used the word icky unironically. Now, I talked about this a couple weeks ago in my Dragon Quest video, and that was the biggest thing that just really drove me around the bend about it, was that the author referred to a specific Puff Puff scene as an icky bit. Which, as a quick aside, I'd like to give something of an update to that. I own Dragon Quest. I've been playing it. And I actually, right after I made that video, I got to that point that the author in that review talked about, where the Puff Puff girl's father was the one that gave the Puff Puff. That is in one of the first towns you come to at something like, depending on how fast you're going, it could be around the 7-hour mark, could be around the 10-hour mark if you're going a bit slower. So that means this author had to either remember that or had to write that one down, because that happens relatively early on. Not only that, that particular Puff Puff, it gives you no less than 3 different times to realize what it is and to not do it. You see the character outside. You have to talk with her. You have to say, yeah, I want to do the Puff Puff. You have to follow her into her house. You have to talk to her again. You have to say yes again. Then she goes all the way up to her room. Then you have to talk to her once more and say yes again. So unless you're a complete and total moron, you know what this is, and the game gives you ample opportunity to not do it. So this one is completely on the author. Moving on from that, the second time that I saw that the word icky used unironically in an article was actually in a political article. Now, unfortunately, I can't remember what it was that I read, and I can't remember for the life of me where it was that I read it. So take that one with a grain of salt, because I can't remember it for the life of me. But I do remember that it did contain the word icky, because I lost my mind when that happened. It drove me nuts, and I did a mental rant for about 2-3 minutes when I saw the word icky in a political article. And then the last one that I saw was just about Monday or Tuesday. It was a review for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, where, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, they said that there is an ethical ickiness to tomb exploration and pillaging, and that the game doesn't shy away from that. It tackles it head on. Ethical ickiness. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Oh, it's a game review. It must be from the same place. No, no, no. The first one, the Dragon Quest review, came from IGN, of all places. And the second one, this came from one of the co-founders of Kotaku. So you have people that are completely detached. Some random nobody from IGN, one of the big names at Kotaku. And this is Kotaku, so big is heavy air quotes, but still. They are so far detached from each other that there should be no meeting whatsoever. And I think I know what's going on here. I've noticed over the years the media tends to, because they absolutely positively do not collude with each other, ha 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 ha. Yeah, right. Because the media tends to all run in the same fucking circle, I've noticed that they tend to use the same words or phrases a lot around the same time period. And don't give me the, oh, well, you're just making it up. They don't run in the same circles. Motherfucker, competing companies link to each other. They use each other as sources. Of course they run in the same circles. They openly talk about how they run in the same circles on Twitter. I don't know what I can do to prove beyond their own words, what I can do to prove to you that these motherfuckers talk all the time and they do collude. So you see this every now and again. They'll use the same wording, the same phrasing, the same titling. They'll have all this stuff that happens around the same time period. Sometimes they're blatantly obvious about it. Other times they're a bit more deceptive with it. But it happens a lot more than you think. And it's not just in gaming media circles. It's the media in general, the whole shebang. So I think that this is one of those times where it's just another word that they've decided to pick up on. My question is, why, Icky? Why have you reverted to 5-year-olds? This is something that shitlords like me would parody you fuckers saying. And yet here you are saying it yourselves. I joke all the time that the media is just like a bunch of kids trying to act like adults. Don't give me evidence to say that I'm right. I want to believe you guys have some credibility somewhere. You're making that really fucking hard on me. I'm railing against the media, but I'm still trying to defend the media as I rail against them. And they are not helping my case in defending them. Why icky? Why gross? Why all of these words a fucking 10-year-old would say? What? I'm waiting for them to use cooties next. I don't understand why they have turned into little children. But this seems to be the new buzzword of the day. I guess because they've driven every other word into the ground. Here's why colluding and working together and copying off of each other is so bad and why I don't suggest doing it, especially in competing businesses. Because you fuckers beat the same fucking word to death until it has no meaning anymore. We've seen this with a lot of the big buzzwords, and now it's getting to the point where they're having to use these other weirder, smaller words to try and get that same point across, to the point where they reverted to 5-year-olds. Stop using icky. Act like the adults you say you are. Get a fucking thesaurus if that's what it takes. I don't give a shit. Just stop acting like a fucking 5 to 10-year-old. Jesus Christ. This has been Math Machine. Once again, complaining about the icky bits in the media. This is going to be my great white whale, I can tell you right now. Peace out.